have a lot of scarce resources today, but I think the scarcest of all is time.
We want a planet that works for us, and we have been doing a terrible job of taking care of it.
I think in the United States today, we've got an immediate opportunity because of an immediate problem.
We built our entire society on quote-unquote cheap oil.
Our physical world can no longer sustain how we've been doing it for the past 150 years.
No civilization has ever survived the ongoing destruction of its environmental support systems, nor will ours.
It's an experiment that I would rather see us not make.
Climate change is only a political issue in America.
Don't listen to, some talk radio guy breaking it down for you. Go and do some research yourself.
Because if you don't believe climate change is happening, you just haven't read the science.
When we talk about building a low-carbon economy, that's a serious proposition.
We don't have the political will, we don't have the market mechanisms that we need.
We're spending over $300 billion a year importing petroleum and petroleum products into the United States.
We haven't had an energy policy in this country in the last 40 years, and it's time we get one.
Right now, the global climate challenge has exposed to us that we've got an economy that's slowly killing us.
You cannot have healthy kids in an unhealthy world, in a fundamentally unhealthy world, which we will be living in.
The real danger is that we don't get started. The rest of the world is starting to move. If we get moving, there's nothing that can stop the American people from getting the job done.
Tough issues to wrestle with.
We need everybody to speak out, so yes.
What would we do differently?
And when we lose the environment, we lose everything.
The we can fix it part, we're going to hear a lot more about that today, starting with Lester next. But I'll say that when I was at the Weather Channel, one of the things that really struck me was that we always focused on the negative aspect of weather, right? We all know where Tornado Alley is, we all know where Hurricane Alley is. We never talked about the good stuff, and Roan Resch, who I know is going to be attending this conference, said to me several years ago, hey, Roan, Heidi, you guys got to start doing solar and wind forecasts. I've been working on that for 5 years. We're going to do it at some point. But basically, in the same way that the United States is rich in weather disasters and extreme events, it's also rich in natural resources like wind and solar. And until we can visualize that for people and show them the great potential of that, we're missing the fact that not only is climate connected to energy, but so is weather. So basically, we can fix this. And the National Academies just came out with a report that basically said, we know it's real, we know it's our fault, we know enough to do something. We don't know everything, but we know enough to get started. And iterative risk management is the way we do this. We just continually do these mid-course corrections, but we need to get started on the problem. Because climate change and sustainability, it's the ultimate procrastination problem, right? The longer you wait to work on it, the harder it gets to solve. And that's the trick about all of this, is that when you really, really start to see it, it's too late to fix. So we have to help people envision and see these things in a way that's meaningful. So when I try to wrap up the energy component of this, and you can talk for a very long time about the interesting aspects of the energy issue, but I always loved this line from Michael Pollan's book, Eat Food, Not Too Much, Mostly Plants. And I think when it comes to sustainability and energy issues, it's pretty much use energy, not too much, mostly renewable. And I think we're going to hear more about that from Lester.
Thank you, Heidi. That was a great introduction. China has a wind-based program to develop 7 wind mega complexes. Each of these will have a generating capacity of at least 10,000 megawatts. Altogether, 138,000 megawatts. That is equal to building another coal-fired power plant every week for 2.5 years. This is not trivial. The other Interesting thing is that in some parts of the world, wind has now become the dominant source of electricity. In Europe, in Germany, there are 3 states in the northern part of the country that now get from 40 to 60% of their electricity from wind. They're the world leaders. The leading country is Denmark, now 25%, Spain, 17%, Germany, 8% of its electricity from wind, India, 7% of its electricity from wind. The US is less than 4%, but very close to 4%. Within the US, we now have 38 states that have utility-scale wind farms. These include the leading ones are Texas, California, and Iowa. Iowa is now getting 19% of its electricity from wind. By the end of this year, it will probably be 23%. So wind can play a major role. In Texas, it's 8%, and this is an oil state, but there's a lot of oil money now going into wind.
I really do believe that, and the War Room believes that this is the largest wealth creation opportunity on the planet. In the world today, what we've done is we've basically, since the 1980s, let all of our infrastructure sort of just wane, right? We've basically done the basic amount of O&M work to actually keep it going, but we haven't really shifted it, which is perfect for us. Right now, we've got wind power that's ready to go, we've got solar power ready to go, we have distributed generation ready to go, and we even have the money ready to go to actually help implement that, which wasn't true, I would say, 15 years ago. And so I'm really happy that today is the day that we've actually decided that we're going to shut down a lot of the coal plants in the country, and today is the day that we're going to actually implement a lot of the energy efficiency for buildings. Today is the day that we're going to do a lot of this work because the technology is ready, the money's ready, the business model innovation is ready, and so we're actually just on the cusp, I think, of actually creating trillion-dollar marketplaces to really take this off. And just like the US did in healthcare pharmaceuticals, Germany and Japan has done a great job of actually leading the way for us in these technologies. And so these technology cost curves have come down. We have a huge amount of research and development going into these, so they're getting better every single year.